Hey everyone, and welcome to the next part of the RimWorld playthrough. If you haven't watched the previous parts, I'd recommend you go back and watch them, as each episode builds upon one another because it's a Let's Play kind of series. So we start our day off with a prisoner falling from the sky, or a person falling from the sky that we could take prisoner, but we don't have a prison, and we don't really have the supplies needed to support another life, as well as their stats aren't very good, and they have paralytic aphasia. This means, as we've talked about before, they won't be useful for like 30 days until they wake up out of it, which means they waste a lot of our resources. They also have to eat human meat because they're neo-shamanist. The religion DLC adds a lot of weird things to this game. All the DLCs do. They're very fun, and I'd recommend if you don't have them to get them. They're expensive, but they add so much to the game that I'd say it's almost necessary to really get the full RimWorld experience, which means the real full RimWorld game costs about $100. But that being said, I would recommend it. Now, continuing our day off, I read through the quest because I didn't really understand why Donaldson fell from the sky, but it doesn't really matter because we're not going to help them anyway. I know that's bad to say, but with only 2 people, we really have to prioritize ourselves. There's also a ship mission and a Mega Scab rescue. We can't really do any of those. The ship mission is how you beat the game, how you escape the RimWorld, but we do not have anywhere close to the facilities and capabilities to be able to handle a situation like that at this current moment. However, getting this day going, we can see that our base has made a lot of improvements since the day Blue fell from the sky, and with Eric's help, things have only gotten a lot easier. We don't have time because we haven't waited long enough to be able to use our religion to get more people and get more benefits, but that will come with time. Right now, we do need to be focusing on hunting and getting our base built up. We see Eric hunting here, getting us more food so that we can have a constant supply of usable meat so that we can stay full and not be hungry and work harder, because the one thing we need is constant labor. We need constant working. These people have hard lives. Blue and Eric sure do. Hopefully, through all this hard work, however, they're able to find a sense of accomplishment as they have turned nothing into something. We see Blue here mining out components. This is going to be useful when we eventually try to get electricity built up. You need a lot of components and a lot of steel, something that we don't really have a lot of. About this time, we get raided, which is a really bad thing to happen for us because this is the one thing that could easily tear this colony apart. A single conflict that ends badly for us would devastate us. Losing either Blue or Eric at this point would almost definitely spell the end of times for our colony. I let the colonists sleep, however. We do not need to rush into combat early. We can wait for them to come to us, and that's exactly what we do. Using the strategy of rushing at them and then sending Blue to melee attack them, that is our strategy here. That is the play that I hope will pay off. I hope Blue will not get killed early on, because that would ruin the save. And as you know, we're playing on Iron Man mode, or whatever RimWorld calls it. We can't reload saves here. Anything that happens, happens, and we have to deal with it. We end up putting them down in a position where we can take them prisoner. I look through their stats, and the only thing that's bad is a psychite addiction. I don't really know how to deal with this, but I decided that is a problem for future me. We can just take them prisoner and exploit their stats, or have another colonist who can just do the simple mundane tasks, not the really high brain, big brain, complex ones, but we don't have a prison built yet, and that is a humongous problem. So I decide, well, we have this extra room, we can build a prison in there, and since they're not injured, hopefully we'll have enough time to get the prison done and put them in there before anything bad happens to them while they sit outside. I'm contemplating how I'm going to do the prison. End up deciding on just putting a prison mat on the floor there, prison spot, building a door, and then loading up the prisoner in there. What I did not foresee happening, however, is something a little bit out of left field here. As I'm prioritizing building the door, the prisoner wakes up, and they're no longer a prisoner. They're just running away. They're fleeing. And then Eric accidentally kills them because it turns out pistol whipping someone is a little bit more damaging than I once thought. So we end up killing the prisoner before we have a prisoner. So that means we don't have a prisoner anymore, and we can continue with our day. Eric has a mental break from seeing the dead bodies. You kind of expect that. He has to see a lot of dead bodies on his way up there. It is what it is. Hiding room, that's the easiest to deal with because he'll just go to his bedroom and hide in there. and it won't cause any lasting problems. Blue's trying to sleep to recover his injuries. This makes sense. He needs to get better. Eric just walking around in there having a little bit of a mental break, a little bit of a crisis here. He's seen some dead bodies. He doesn't know what's going on, but he breaks psychotically sometimes, but now he's back to normal. And that's going to give him catharsis, so he'll be better off for the next coming days, which is something that's always good. I look at the prospect of doing a ritual, decide not to do it. The payoff is not good enough, and it's time to start mining more components and getting more food. While bringing the food back, this is when Randy Random decides to bless us with another random encounter. This one is a man-hunting pack of wild animals. The animals in particular, well, none other than raccoons, of course. This is not much of a threat. They have scoria, which means we can't eat them, but they shouldn't be much of a threat. And they're just gonna run around outside. They won't even actually break in and kill us, so we can just hide indoors. But we do have to get rid of them if we want to return to normal operations. I decide to run away while Eric shoots at them. This is a good strategy until Blue can give it the beat down, beating the raccoon with ease, not even getting hit once. This does leave another raccoon out there, though, somewhere lurking in the distance, just north of Blue and Eric. Still not much of a threat, however, and Eric gets a good shot off on him, getting a chunk of him removed, and then Blue is able to give him the beatdown, but this time not without taking a hit himself. Not a substantial hit, and overall it won't affect him in the long term, but it was a close call, one of many I foresee in the future. Due to the raccoons having scoria, however, we can't eat them, meaning they're just wasted kills, but in the time being, we can work on increasing the size of our barracks and increasing the overall size of our facility, mapping it out and getting a dedicated storage room that's bigger and a dedicated bedroom that's bigger to allow for more colonists in the future to have sleeping quarters and more storage to have its own dedicated room so that we can spread things out and get a higher quality room. We need bigger rooms. Because right now, being all condensed does have its pros, but it also has its major cons. No room is particularly specialized, and no room is particularly high quality, meaning it's not giving the colonists any boosts, and it may even be giving them debuffs. Eric does most of his hunting throughout the day, and this is when Paulo falls from the sky, finally giving us a prisoner, or at least potentially. We have to look through his stats and see if he's actually worth taking, but he could very well be the person we need to really put our colonist over the edge. He has the Night Owl trait. This is very useful because he'll be able to have a different cycle of sleep and awake than the other colonists, so this will allow him to make sure we're working full time. We'll have no downtime in the colony this way. So I decide we're going to make a prison and try to get him. He has an addiction of some kind, but that's all right because, well, maybe we can take care of that or at least figure out a solution. This does mean we need to focus on wardening and making sure that we have extra food because if you aren't giving your prisoner food, they will revolt, and that could very quickly turn bad. Having a prisoner is a threat, but also having a prisoner could have its benefits, especially if we can convert them to our religion and recruit them. This would give us another hand, but he has a psychite dependency. This is something we can deal with, but it will be a problem in the future. He has 60 days without psychite before he will literally just die. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe as it's much appreciated. Sorry that this video took longer than I thought to get out. I've just been really busy with school. But to make it up to you guys, the next episode is going to be extra long and extra special and will be out by the end of this week. So stay tuned. Thanks again for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day.